Hello everybody and welcome back to the Gaming Geezer 1965. Yes, we're back and I'm very happy. Yes, I found something out by myself without searching through YouTube for a video. I must be honest and say that a few months back, long before I owned my own Commodore 64 Ultimate, I already saw a video from Monroe's World where he was dabbling with the configuration system. But I didn't pay too much attention to that because I thought, well, that is something that A, I'm not going to use, and B, something technical like this, I need to have my own Commodore 64 next to it and follow his step by step so I can repeat it, and by repetition I will learn what it actually does. But now I've owned the system and you've seen me in a few videos already going through the menu, making changes when I want to make a backup using my real 1541 and then setting it back to how I want him to act when I'm playing games on it, either for my channel or just having fun by myself. And now I figured it out how it works. So now I am going to show you how this works. First of all, we go to this menu. And for instance, I want to set my Commodore as it needs to behave for just a playing session. I'll just check the settings of memories and ROMs. And as you can see, everything is set up properly. JiffyDos is loaded in the kernel ROM and JiffyDos is loaded for both drive A and B. So we're going out of this menu and we're going to check built-in drive A and built-in drive B. I think they should have also put in quotation mark number 8 and number 9, but every Commodore user knows that the first drive will be number 8 and the second drive will be number 9. So it's not that much of a problem, but if you're getting a newcomer getting into this 8-bit computer thing because he's also curious, for him it doesn't make any sense because, yeah, it's all new to him. But it does, sorry, but that doesn't matter. Let's just get in here, and as you can see, this drive is enabled. And so drive B will also be enabled. I don't need it in gameplay mode, but if there's a program or a game that supports 2 disks, well, I can tell you Turbo Outrun, even though you have 2 sides, it doesn't support the 2 disks because it expects you to actually remove a physical floppy and turn it around. But now the Commodore is set to play games how I want it to be, the sound is how I want it to be, the LED lighting is how I want it to be, the network is active and is working, so I'm ready to make a file for default settings. The first thing what you're going to do is not, because this is what I always wanted to do. First of all, in the beginning I was trying this. So I'm somewhere here in the menu. For instance, when you for the first time boot up your Commodore, it will, and you go to this menu, it will select disk file browser, and this is where you end up. Then you press F1 and you say configuration. All you can do is save to flash. You can't save to file. So you can only store one configuration, and that is, I already did this, that is the default setting. But now I want to make a configuration for copying my games. So then the order of how I handle things is wrong. So let's just get out of here. And now we're going to the file browser and let's go back to, well, file browser, and then you get to this menu. By default, you get to select either the SD card, your flash memory, or your temporary RAM disk memory. Well, I go to the SD card. And as you can see, I've got the Commodore Ultimate SD and configurations. This is a directory I recently made for my configurations. But since we're doing an example of how you need to do it, so we're pressing in this menu, in the SD folder, we will press F1 and say create. We'll make a directory. Well, I already have a directory configuration, so now I will call it config YouTube. Oops, my bad. Create directory. Almost good, almost. Yeah, that looks better. Now we're entering this folder and we have no items. We have checked the menu and every setting is how I want my Commodore 64 to be in default mode. So JiffyDos Activ and all the drives are active, so I can use my Commodore 64 how I want to use it. The lights, everything is done properly. So now we press F1 and now you get to go to configuration. And ta-da! Save to file is actually selectable this time. Now it's very simple, so we say default. Let's make it JD from JiffyDos. Oops. I still have to get used to the special keys. JiffyDos Activ. And this is all. Now we are going back too far. And now I'm going to set my computer in the mode how I make backups. It doesn't matter that the drive isn't connected yet, but as soon as you connect it and you select this proper configuration tool, then your internal drive 8 will be deselected. So when you connect this one to it and you turn it on, the Commodore 64 automatically sees only this external drive 8. So let's go to memory and say none. The original 1541 ROM and the original 1541 ROM. Do you want to save changes to flash? Yes. We go to built-in drive A and that one needs to be disabled because this one is going to be the one where to be copied from. And it already has the proper ROM. So, yes. And drive B needs to be enabled and the ROM needs to be the 1541. And that's already properly done. So, now we go back to the file browser. And I will show you we're still in the folder config YouTube. We're here. So now we do the same as we did with creating the default JiffyDos Activ. Now we're pressing create, no, not create, my bad, back. Now we go to the configuration, save to file, we give the name, and as you can see, let's go back so we can actually check it. We can go to memories and ROM. As you see, we have a regular kernel and the regular ROMs for the drives, for both of them. And the final check is drive A must be disabled. Disabled. Now you are wondering how to load it, because when you press F1 and you can say configuration, you can only save or reset from flash. Well, and this is where things is easy. reloading your configuration works exactly the same as loading a game. So we're going back to the file. And as you can see, we are back in the bottom. You can see where we are. We are on the SD card in the folder configuration YouTube. And now I'm going to load the default settings. So everything will be turned back on. JiffyDos will be active again. Load settings. Successful. Okay. Don't scare if you're going back and you do not see the JiffyDos. JiffyDos will be active. If it's not active, so if you don't see it in this screen, for instance, now I want JiffyDos to be disabled. Let's go back to file browser and say backup, load settings. When we go back, you see JiffyDos is still enabled. What you need to do then is go back, press F1 and reset your computer while clearing the memory. And we're back to the regular Commodore 64. And now we will check if the settings are correct for making a backup. So the internal drive must be disabled and JiffyDos supposed to be off. But JiffyDos is off because you can see the regular Commodore 64 message. So let's go to memory and everything is off. No JiffyDos, also not for drive A and drive B. Even though we didn't make any changes, it still wants to save when you back out. And this one is still disabled. And this one is still enabled. So you can make and create empty D64 files and copy your work on that. Or copy the floppy on that. Okay. Now we go for the final example back to the gameplay mode. So file browser, the default, let's load the settings. And just as before, JiffyDos is not available because every time you load a configuration, you need to reset your Commodore 64 to activate the actual settings. So we're going back to the menu and let's power and reset. And JiffyDos is back and you will soon see that every setting is how it's supposed to be. Everywhere is JiffyDos, all the 1541s. It's back, yes. And this one is back enabled. So you can make all these changes to your system whatever you want. And then you can store them in a configuration file. And you can just swap over depending on your needs where you want to use the system for. Working, making backups, or just plain having fun. And I hope you had fun watching this video, and I hope that this video helped you out. If it did, leave a like, a comment. What's your experience with this? Have you tried this already? And if so and something didn't work out, put your questions down below. If I can help you out, I will help you out. And I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.